Good afternoon, Cross Timbers, and welcome to this week's episode of Texan Sports Minute. I'm Harley Brown.
And I'm Mark Smith. In today's headlines, the Texans win the Lone Star Conference Cross Country Championships. Charlton football team breaks a school record. Texan volleyball's 10-game win streak comes to an end. Charlton's men's basketball team ranks second in the nation. Game 1 of the World Series goes to 14 innings, and President Obama honors the U.S. women's soccer team. The Texans took the title as the Lone Star Conference champions for the first time in school history. Charlton's very own Allie Coughlin won the individual title after finishing the 6,000-meter run in 21 minutes and 58 seconds. The Texans claimed the title after defeating Eastern New Mexico by just 1 point. Coughlin and teammate Caitlin Huckabee were both named to the LSC All-Conference team. Charlton will compete November 7th at the NCAA South Central Regional, hosted by West Texas A&M.
Despite the rainy conditions, the Texan football team set a new school record after defeating Oklahoma Panhandle State University 84-47. Charlton's 84 points now holds the school record for most points scored in a game, as the most recent record was set last season when the Texans scored 80 points against Texas A&M Kingsville. The Aggies were able to answer each touchdown by Charlton as the teams went back and forth the entire first quarter, leaving the score tied at 21. It wasn't until a touchdown by Cason Fornes late in the second quarter was Charlton able to score 2 unanswered touchdowns, giving the Texans a 35-21 lead. Fornes was able to find himself in the end zone just 2 minutes later after a 34-yard pass from Zed Warner. The Aggies were unable to overcome this 21-point deficit as the Texans would score 6 more touchdowns this game, with 4 of them taking place in the fourth quarter. Offensively, the Texans were led by Dominique Martin, who had 109 yards on 6 receptions, and quarterback Zed Warner, who threw for 413 yards on 29 of 40 attempts. Cody Bircher led the way defensively with 11 tackles on the game and 1 sack. The Texans will wrap up conference play with an away game against Angelo State starting at 7 p.m. on October 31st.
The 10-game win streak by the Texan volleyball team was snapped this weekend after the team suffered 2 losses to Lubbock Christian University and Newman University in non-conference play. This was the first loss for the Texans since September 16th. The losses came just after Charlton just claimed outright possession of first place in the conference after their 4-set win over Angelo State on October 21st. Haley Roberts had 41 kills on the day, while Xashi Mathis contributed 30. Kenya Alexander handed out 11 blocks, and Aisa Garcia had 36 digs. Chandler Gow ended the day with 101 assists. The Texans will resume conference play as they travel to Port Alice this weekend to take on Eastern New Mexico.
Charlton's men's basketball team was ranked number 2 in the nation by the National Association of Basketball Coaches, which is the official poll of the NCAA rankings. Charlton has been previously ranked as a number 1 team in the nation by multiple media outlets, including The Sporting News and Hero Sports. The Texans will kick off their season with an exhibition game against the University of Texas on November 6th, followed with a regular season home opener against Colorado Springs on November 13th. Charlton has 9 total players returning from their historic 31-4 season, including 3 starters, Michael Harge, Malcolm Hamilton, and E.J. Reed.
In national news, Game 1 of the 2015 World Series sets the record for the longest opening game in World Series history. We'll now go to the Associated Press for more.
You know, we found out about it before the game, and the wishes of the family was, you know, let Eddie pitch. So I was kind of keeping my eye, didn't want him to hear about it. You get in that situation with Familia on the mound, you know how good he can be, and boy, Gordy hit one, you know, about as good as he can hit it to tie the ball game up, and we just kept battling from that point on.
One thing, Mark, you know, he doesn't do is give up home runs. So we were all shocked by it. So, you know, we kind of liked where we were at. So, but just didn't. You know, they're a team that one of the things we know about them is they're never down and out. So you got to put them away.
Yeah, I never saw him before. Knew he was really good. Definitely wasn't trying to do that against him. You know, great sinker, so I want to be ready for it. And you know, that bat before with Salvi, I saw him quick pitch, so you know I wasn't expecting that, and I wanted to make sure when I got in the box I was ready to hit. And you know, he tried to quick pitch me and just left the ball right there to hit, and with a guy like that, you can't miss pitches that he gives you to hit.
Well, it was a great night. 2 things you don't want in Game 1 of the World Series, and one of them is to go 14 innings, and the other one is to lose. So, you know, to find a way to grind that game out against a great team over there.
On October 27th, President Obama honored the U.S. women's soccer team on their 5-2 win over Japan in the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup. We will now go to the Associated Press with footage from the ceremony.
These champions deserve all the attention that they've been getting. After 16 long years, too many heartbreaks, they flew north to put America back on top of the soccer world, and they did it in style. It was a victory that took all 23 players. It took Christy Rampone's leadership, Alex Morgan's playmaking, Heather O'Reilly's game face. It took Becky Sauerbrun's quiet dominance and Abby Wambach's not so quiet dominance. This victory was about more than just soccer. It was about dominance and skill and about inspiring our whole country. About a month before the World Cup kicked off, these players launched She Believes initiative, encouraging young fans all across the country to believe in themselves. And whether it was through the campaign, or on the field, they've inspired millions of girls to dream bigger. And by the way, inspired millions of boys to look at girls differently, which is just as important. This team taught all America's children that playing like a girl means you're a badass. And perhaps I shouldn't have used that phrase. Playing like a girl means being the best. It means drawing the largest TV audience for a soccer match, men or women's, in American history. It means wearing our nation's crest on your jersey, taking yourself and your country to the top of the world. That's what American women do. That's what American girls do. That's why we celebrate this team. They've done it with class. They've done it with the right way. They've done it with excitement. They've done it with style.
That's it for this week's episode of Texan Sports Minute. Check back next week for sports news from Tarleton's campus and beyond.